Nottingham Forest are linked with a goalkeeper who is quality. We have a winger who may be leaving Forest and a person going on a Bosman but going on a loan first before being sold. I'll explain all. Welcome to your Forest transfer news. Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you are. Hope you're well, and welcome to your latest Nottingham Forest transfer news. Coming up in today's video, we'll talk to you about the links with José Sá. We'll talk about Dennis, who may be on his way out from Nottingham Forest, and one of our defenders who's gonna leave, but gonna leave on a loan, which means we get no money. And I'll explain all. If you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. And a massive thank you to all of you who have already subscribed to our new channel, The Footy News. I'll leave a link in the video and in the description below if you would be so kind as to subscribe to that. That will give you all your transfer news across the Premier League and plenty more football coming for you. And if you're doing FPL, don't forget to subscribe to FPL World as well. The link's in the description down below. And finally, last announcement, we have a Gore stream tonight with the boys where we'll be discussing all the transfer news, all the FFP stuff, and probably a bit of Blackpool because we're going to beat them anyway. All right, let's jump into this. Let's kick it off with José Sá. All right, so Nuno looking to reignite an old flame in José Sá from his time at Wolves. And I like José Sá. I think he's a quality player. And rumours are that obviously Nuno is very interested in him, which kind of tells you he's still not that happy with Vlachodimos and Turner. I mean, probably most of the fan base would be in agreement with him. But José Sá, who is still currently Wolves' #1 goalkeeper, how is this going to work? The rumours are, and this is all rumours at the moment, but Wolves are still in financial trouble. They had to sell a crap load of players off in the summer. We saw Neves going to Saudi. We saw the other dude going to Man City. Loads of money. I think they sold about 150 million worth of players. But they still need to free up some more money because of the classic FFP stuff. And José Sá could be the next one to exit. And of course, there's only one link that José Sá wants, and that's with his old manager, Nuno. Now, what's interesting about Sá is that Forest were keen on him earlier on in the previous transfer window in the summer and would like to have brought him to Nottingham Forest, but at the time he didn't want to move. But that was under the Cooper regime. Now under the Nuno regime, Sá could be interested in this one. Let me give you a little background to José Sá. 30-year-old. He played for Maritimo B squad, then the main squad. Then he moved to Porto in 2016, where he played for their B squad. Then moved up to their senior squad from 2016 to 2019. Then he went on Olympiacos. There's the connection right there. Up until 2021, which is where he moved to Wolves. And he's played 90-odd games for Wolves already, but is yet to score a goal, surprisingly enough. I like this move. Now, how much would he cost us? I'm not quite sure because Wolves will want a decent fee for him. But I just think, look, and with the age thing with goalkeepers, let's address that first, right? 30 years old for a goalkeeper is not old. I mean, we saw Navas last season at Nottingham Forest still playing at 36. Some of you would say he was really good. I would disagree. But anyway, the point is goalkeepers have a longer life shelf expectancy on a football pitch than an outfield player. So 30 years old is actually the right age for a goalkeeper, where they're coming into maturity, where they, don't kick the ball out into play time and time again, where they don't pass it to Garnacho, that kind of thing. That's where the goalkeeper should be getting better. Now, José Sá is a really good shot stopper. Remember last season, he saved a penalty as well against Jono when we played them at Molineux. And his distribution is way better than Turner's. So I would be up for this one. My biggest issue with it is how much is it going to cost us? And that for me could be the sticking point with Forest with the financial fair play stuff under scrutiny currently. However, what I would say is there's loads of rumours going around that Forest can't afford anyone because of FFP. I don't buy them and I don't believe them. Why? Because we've explained to you before, we've got 2 seasons carried over currently from the Championship where you can only go over budget, should we say, by 13 million. And once you're in the Premier League, you can go by 35 million. So Forest are automatically going to gain, what, literally 22 million in terms of more overspend that they can do as each year goes past. And eventually we'll be up to 105 in the next year or so. So in essence, that's not going to impact us too much. But what I do expect more so is a strategical window from Nottingham Forest. I think currently we're going to get a goalkeeper. We may get a backup striker and a winger or two, and that will probably be it. We'll be getting more players going out. There's so many linked with leaving currently. We'll talk about those in just a second. But in terms of Sarr, he's the right profile for me. He's got plenty of Premier League experience. Nuno already knows him inside out. I think they may have played under each other at Porto as well. I can't remember if the dates quite correlate. I'm sure one of you lot in the comments will let me know down below. But my question to you is, would you take Sarr or would you take Navas, who is still linked to Nottingham Forest? Now, he would come under no transfer fee, but heavy wages. Which one would you prefer? Let me know. Alrighty then, let's move on to story number 2, and that is about Emmanuel Dennis, the guy that, I'm not gonna lie, I still wouldn't mind back at Nottingham Forest. But Rangers, who seem to obviously be on the phone day in, day out to Ross Wilson, are now being heavily linked to Emmanuel Dennis on a permanent move. The manager there, Philippe Clement, who used to manage Dennis back at Club Brugge, is very interested in the idea of the havoc that Dennis could cause in the attack for Rangers. Now, Rangers aren't shy of scoring goals currently. I mean, I could probably go up front for them and bag myself 30 goals in the Farmers League. I can say that I was born in Scotland. Don't start in the comments. Don't start. But anyway, back to the point. The problem we've got is that obviously Dennis is away on loan at Istanbul, and Dennis would have to be released and agreed to be released by both clubs. Now, Forest would be willing to do this, but it's up to Istanbul if they would. I mean, we can't really force them to or not because of the loan agreement thing. So what would basically have to happen is both clubs would agree. Dennis, in essence, would come back, but wouldn't come back, would go to Rangers and end up playing in Scotland under his old manager. And remember, Forest spent 12 million plus add-ons on Dennis when we bought him in, and he was completely shunned out by Cooper. There was a lot of talk about attitude issues and all this. I don't buy him for a second. I think he was just frustrated that he wasn't given any game time under Steve Cooper. And I still think, and I know it's not a popular opinion, but he would be one hell of an asset for Forest, especially under a Nuno Bull system. So I'm not for this happening. But let's just say Nuno's had a look at him and Nuno's decided that he's not for him. Then we may as well get some money back. We need to start selling players and selling players quickly. So it sounds like it would be a good fit for Dennis to go back up there. And under his own old manager who knows his playing style, knows how to get the best out of him, etc. Because that was the club that caused him to move into the Premier League at Watford, where he did shine. So I could see this happening. I could, but it all depends on how much Forest can negotiate and how much, probably, if you're being realistic, Forest would be willing to take a loss on Dennis for. And that's probably going to be another of the sticking points. But my heart still says, as a player in Dennis, he's only 26, got plenty of football in front of him, just needs the right manager to get the best out of him. And I honestly think Nuno could be that guy. What do you guys think? Would you sell Dennis or would you keep him? Let me know as always in the comments down below. All right, let's keep this theme on Rangers. Patterns are clearly developing. And we've told you that McKenna has been linked heavily to Celtic and to Rangers. And both clubs are trying to put together a loan deal. And I don't like this one. Let me explain why. McKenna's got 6 months left on his contract. And he is free to speak to clubs currently about basically doing a Bosman so he can move to them in the summer. Now, Forest want to offload him. And Forest are looking to get about £3, maybe £4 million for McKenna currently, because we got to cash in or we're going to get nothing. You know what I mean? It's worth doing that, even if it's a low fee. But what Rangers are saying is that they want to loan him from Forest and then make that a permanent deal come the summer. And that is, for me, of no benefit to Forest whatsoever, apart from taking his wages off the book. I would assume that if this loan deal was to go through, it would be a case of 100% wages, football manager style, that would need to be paid. Now, the only way this does benefit Forest, apart from the wages, is if they were to put a loan fee on top of that, maybe for $1 million or $2 million. And I think that might be what's hidden in this agreement somewhere, if it was to go ahead as a loan agreement. Otherwise, it would make no sense to me whatsoever. But do I see McKenna leaving in this window? I think it's definite. He's going to go. They're not coming to an agreement on the contract. He hasn't had any game time under Nuno. He hasn't played for Forest, I believe, since the Chelsea game, if memory serves me right. And I just think Rangers stump up the 3 million. Russ Wilson, remember what colours you wear now. It's not blue anymore, it's red. Remember that and get us some money for him before we lose him for nothing. I've never really been that against Scott McKenna, apart from the Bournemouth mistake he made last season, and the fact that I don't think he is an out-and-out Premier League player. But I think his attitude and what he did for us in the Championship will always be remembered. So I don't mind this transfer going through for me at all. And I think Scotland, he would be very comfortable, especially in a Rangers or a Celtic team as well. I think he'll find his level quite comfortably there and probably flourish. But what do you guys think? Should we try and get some money for Scott McKenna? Or does this loan with a permanent deal at the end of it, which won't benefit Forest, make any sense to you? Let me know. All right, so let me explain to you now about the story we told you the other day about John Joe Shelby and the embarrassment that this has turned out to be. And then I don't know why we got some dollar signs, but let's just get rid of those. Anyway, so we told you that Shelby was a loan deal when he went to Turkey, and Forest had to terminate his contract because they'd overdone it on the amount of international loans. And this is all true. And basically the true story, or at least what we believe now is the true story, has come out about it. And it all surrounds Alex Mighten. When Alex Mighten was loaned out, he was loaned out with Forest thinking that he was a junior loan, if you like, rather than a senior loan. And when that went through, it went through as a senior loan, which took Forest to the 7 transfers. Now, when they went to loan out Shelby, what happened was they agreed the loan deal, and when they went to register it with FIFA, that was blocked on the system. And that's where Forest kind of, I guess you could say, hit the panic button, ripped up Shelby's contract, and then made him almost a free agent, if you like, and then he was able to go and join away from Forest. And it's just a bit of a mess. It's kind of embarrassing, I think, that you can't count to 7, or that no one noticed that Mighten went through as a senior loan. And all this stuff, it just makes you wonder, how ship tight are we in that backroom staff area in terms of getting all these processes done and everything like that. Now, the knock-on effect from this could be some punishments for Nottingham Forest for breaching rules, even though technically they didn't. But what we do know is the Premier League have come out and said there will be no punishments put towards Forest for this. FIFA still have not confirmed or denied whether they will be chasing Forest for any punishments at all on this one. But the general consensus is that Forest won't be punished for this. I mean, the embarrassment itself is enough punishment, in my opinion. But Shelby is done, as we told you the other day. But it still doesn't answer the question of why Forest declared it on their official website, in their official statement, as a loan deal. My only guess is, again, left hand not speaking to the right hand, or not knowing what the right hand's doing, because left hand can't speak to a right hand. Anyway. And I just think someone was told initially this was going to go on a loan. When it was declared, they went with that same message. That can be the only explanation. But it is somewhat a level of incompetence that we shouldn't be seeing from a Premier League team. Now, we all know the backroom infrastructure and all that at Nottingham Forest is still way behind where it needs to be, because promotion came as a unexpected surprise to us. So we do need to cut them some slack. But had Forest got punished for this, and you would have to say you could only class it as stupidity, it really, really would not have been a good look. It already isn't, but that's the story, and that's what happened with Jonjo. So get your thoughts in on that and all the other stories. And if you would be so kind as to subscribe to the new channel, The Football News. We've got a video coming up on that shortly. I'll pop it up here for you guys so you can go and watch that. That will give you the Premier League news. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. And we will see you tonight at 8 for Grumpy Old Reds. Looking forward to catching up with you and the gang. Come on, you Reds.